Hello, everyone. This is Jennifer Salazar with the Better Business Bureau Education Foundation in Houston, Texas. Did you know that June 15th, 2021 is World Elder Abuse Awareness Day? This is such a big day for the greatest generation of Americans and our community because it is a day that we should open up discussion on physical abuse, mental abuse, financial exploitation, but most importantly, how to stop it from happening, how to stop scams. And with that being said, we want to do a very special scam of the month for June 2021. So how big is the problem? Did you know that only 1 in 44 report scams? That's it, 1 in 44. And the sad fact is it's extremely difficult to catch these criminals. And a lot of people will think, how could I have been so stupid? You need to realize anyone of any age can fall for a scam at any time. And not only that, scammers threaten their victims. They will tell them the most horrible stories and threaten them in order to get their money. And the sad fact is, a lot of times you'll never get your money back. Here are just a few examples of the scams that we're talking about: the lottery and sweepstakes scam, the grandparent scam, romance scams, investment seminars, government officials calling you, identity theft after a person has passed away, internet scams, phishing emails, neighborhood spoofing, fake charities and donation requests, utility imposters, and unneeded repairs. And my friends, this is just to name a few. The best plan you can have is knowledge. Tell your family about scams. Tell them. Don't dictate. Tell them. Instead of telling them, don't pick up the phone, explain why you shouldn't pick up the phone, or why you should hang up the phone or throw away that junk mail. Explain to them that you cannot just win a sweepstakes if you didn't enter the sweepstakes. Also, have a pre-planned script by the telephone. If they do get a call from someone asking for money or asking for their Medicare or Social Security numbers, have a script where they can say, I'm not interested, or I'm hanging up, or don't call me again. Remind them over and over and over again, you don't pay to play. You shouldn't pay money to win money. Also, government agencies won't call you over the telephone. You're not going to get a call from Medicare or Social Security or the IRS. So never give that information out over the telephone. And knowledge is power once again. And I love this graphic because what the heck am I looking at? It's so important to discuss technology and the internet, to go online and show your parents examples of phishing emails that you've actually received. For example, a phishing email is an email that you believe is from someone else. For example, like you get something in the mail, right? And it's a package that's about to be delivered to your home. But if you put your mouse, which is your cursor, over the email address, the real email address will appear. So for example, if you think you're getting something from Amazon and you put your mouse on top of Amazon and then a bad email address appears, like at gmail.com, you know that's a scam email. That's a phishing email. Describe how no one can remotely detect a virus on your computer. For example, have you ever been on your computer and you get a pop-up saying a virus is detected? Click here to fix it. Explain to them about that because it might literally look like a virus and they might think they're fixing their computer, but in reality, if they click the link, it's going to load a real virus to their computer. And last, show them how to block phone calls on their cell phones. Show them the technology they need to block these calls. Also, on a lot of cell phones, there's a button on the side that you can press down that will automatically send the phone calls to voicemail. And that's probably the best way to do it. It's at no cost. And if it is a legitimate person, a lot of times they will leave a voicemail. If it is a scammer, sometimes they do leave a voicemail, but you'll be able to tell if it's a scammer or not. And this is a great tip for anyone with a phone: how to stop phone scammers. First off, sign up for the National Do Not Call Registry at donotcall.gov. Now remember, this is just for businesses, okay? Contact your phone carrier and ask about call blocking services. I bet you didn't know, a lot of times these services are at no cost to you. Consider using services such as robokiller.com or truecaller.com. Before you're scammed, it's so important to have a plan. Emails and phone calls from friends and family, you need to let your family members know that's on the internet that if they do send an email, to always, once again, take your mouse, which is your cursor, put it over the family member's name in the email. Wait a few seconds and make sure that's their actual email address, because scammers can use your family's name to try to scam you in an email. Also, it's so important for your family to have what's called a code word. And this is just in case you get a phone call and someone pretends to be your grandchild and you really believe it's an emergency and you need to send money right away. Well, you should let all your grandchildren know that you have a code word that only they have. So if it is a scammer, they're not going to know your code word. Also, talk to your loved one about situations when you would need to wire money. For example, tell them that, like, if you do get a phone call and someone's asking you to wire money at Western Union or get a Green Dot money card, guess what? Talk to them about that. Tell them that you're not going to get a phone call from someone trying to get these types of gift cards. Tell them that anytime they hear someone trying to get a gift card, it's more than likely a scammer. Also, talk about the dangers of Facebook and online dating sites. Yes, people are of all ages are on online dating sites. Talk to them about stranger danger. This is good for any age at any time. Something so important, and it's so important and can help us avoid so many scams, is when it comes to our investments. For example, you should check out your financial investor at www.finra.gov under broker checker. Also, your parents might not want your advice, and don't take it personally. If they don't want your advice when it comes to handling their investments, send them to a safe place. For example, FINRA Security Helpline for Seniors. There's a helpline just for seniors at 844-574-3577. Discuss mailing. For example, I get this all the time. My parents get this all the time. My grandparents get this all the time. You may be invited to attend a free seminar on investments. You might even get a free lunch, right? Wrong. You need to be very cautious of these. If you do go to one, if your family does go to one, make sure they have a script on how to say no if they're not interested. And you may want to attend the meeting with them. Talk about co-signing. We see this a lot, unfortunately. A lot of times grandparents want to co-sign for their grandchildren, but the problem is if the grandchild doesn't make the payment, it falls back on the grandparent to pay for it. And a lot of people, once they hit a certain age, have fantastic credit. So don't let them fall for co-signing, even if it is a family member. One thing I truly hate is when people knock on my door, especially because I have a special sign that says no soliciting. However, people still knock on my door. And that's something that we need to show our parents and our family members how not to answer the door. And I know that sounds silly, but you can escape so many scams by just not answering the door. You need to talk to them, and you don't need to dictate. You don't need to say, don't answer the door. No, you need to say, Mom or Dad, let me tell you about some scams going on. For example, somebody might come in and try to switch your electricity to another company. So you need to tell them about the electricity plan they currently have. You need to tell them about the alarm system they already have. And if you are uncomfortable, give them my telephone number. Give my number out to roofers, to tree trimmers, to electricians, and put it on me. Tell them that we want to check them out before you're interested in their business. It is so important not to answer the door, especially for these companies, because they can be very persuasive. And sometimes you might end up with two security bills for your alarm system instead of one. So be cautious. Also, mail deliveries. How many of us like to get packages? I know I do. There's a wonderful tool that I even use, and it's from the United States Postal Service. It provides a free service at informeddelivery.usps.com, which emails you the images of your mail before it arrives. And this is wonderful because you can see what you're getting in the mail before it hits your mailbox. This service also allows users to track and manage packages to keep your mail safe from being scammed. Also, for more information about this, visit their website. It's a great service and it's at no cost to you. And oh no, what do we do if our seniors are actually scammed? What do we do if our parents, our grandparents, or even us, what do we do if we're scammed? First off, don't blame and don't shame. Don't ever shame someone. Show empathy because, again, this can happen to anyone of any age. Talk to your parents about how their experience could be important for others facing the same situation, and they need to report it to law enforcement. Because again, remember, 1 in 44 reports this. If more people report, we can stop these scams. And depending on the type of scam, either if it's the romance scam or the sweepstakes scam, your parents or family members may need a medical evaluation, especially by a gerontologist. Warn your parents, your grandparents, seniors in your community that once they're scammed, they may be able to fall for more scams. Because a lot of times if scammers get them one time, if they scammed them one time, they come back over and over and over again. Because unfortunately in the scammer's eyes, that person's now an easy target. Let's face it, reality bites, my friends. And when we were teenagers, we said the same things to our parents. Well, guess what? Now our parents are going to say the same thing to us. And this is some of the things that your parents may say to you if you try to help or get in their business about scams. First off, they may say, stay out of my business. You don't know what you're talking about. When it comes to the romance scam, I'm in love with this person and there's nothing you can do about it. They said that you would say that. All you're trying to do is take all my money and put me in the nursing home. Well, they were at my church. I know other people have won money. So let me tell you about this. We do see a lot of scams at church. We do see a lot of scams where the scammer will isolate the person and tell them all kinds of lies saying that your family will try to keep us separated. They kind of brainwash folks. But when an elder has been scammed, do what you have to do, no matter what. And I know this is so hard because you have to plan to live with the consequences. There are always consequences to everything. So what are the financial consequences of scams? First off, there's identity theft. There's debit and credit card fraud, stolen tax returns, healthcare fraud, cleaning and closing compromised accounts, which is a lot of work, working with Medicare, Medicaid, the IRS, Social Security to report all this fraud. And then you have to look at the loss of funds, which leads to past due bills, losing water, power, and having no food in some situations. It's not always financial consequences. There are other consequences that are non-financial. For example, you lose your time. 63.7% of consumers lost time when they were scammed. 52% lost their confidence and their peace of mind. 36.5% gave away very important information about their identity. Others is low self-esteem, loss of trust, anxiety, embarrassment, and depression. And here are some examples of identity theft that we see in my line of work. We see stolen Medicare numbers, which leads to false claims with Medicare. Getting supplies like walkers, diabetic equipment that you didn't order. Error, fraud, and abuse on your Medicare summary notice. We see a lot of adult children using their elderly parents' benefits, like their food stamps, prescription drugs, Medicare and Medicaid benefits, their Social Security numbers. With a Social Security number, did you know you can file for unemployment, take out loans and credit, and even file taxes? What steps can we take right now to stop these scams? Right now, because we don't want any of our loved ones and ourselves to be victims. Number one, visit your bank to discuss red flags and freezing accounts and to be aware of other possible fraud that could happen. Review bank accounts, insurance policies, investments, and annuities for any changes on the account ownership are beneficiaries. So you want to always make sure that your parents' bank information or any of their information is always in their name. If you have to, involve a neutral third party, such as a forensic accountant. Order credit reports to look over suspicious activities. Also, if you have a credit card, make sure you look for charges that are $1 because a lot of times scammers will test your credit card to see if it works. They'll charge $1 at a time to see if they have the right information. Put a freeze on your parents' credit report or sign up for a credit monitor service such as LifeLock, AAA, or Privacy Guard. There's some new technology that offers even more protection when it comes to banking. Eversafe.com, TrueLinkFinancial.com, and BillGuard.com. What resources are available for victims? You have the Texas Senior Medicare Patrol, which is our organization, and you can call us to report Medicare fraud, error, and abuse in the great state of Texas, all 254 counties. And our number is 888-341-6184. If you're in the Houston and surrounding areas, you can call the Better Business Bureau Education Foundation of Houston, which is also our organization, at 713-341-6184. Adult Protective Services at 1-800-252-5400. FINRA Security Helpline for Seniors at 844-574-3577. The Texas Attorney General's Office at 800-621-0508. The Federal Trade Commission at 1-877-382-4357. And the Texas Department of Insurance at 1-800-252-3439. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Jennifer Salazar with the Better Business Bureau Education Foundation. We have a grant called the Texas Senior Medicare Patrol. If you need to report Medicare fraud, error, or abuse in our state, please give us a call at 888-341-6187. We cover the whole state of Texas, all 254 counties. If you'd like to talk to me personally, my number is 713-341-6184, and you can always reach me via email at jsalazar@bbbhou.org. Thank you.